Has got him. Keen Ice has won the Travers over American Pharoah.
With 250 meters left to go, Rich Bishop's got away from California home,
and he's got a 6-leg lead as they come to the wire. A Triple Crown winner, a Breeders' Cup winner, fourth of a lifetime.
Broadcasting live from the Capitol OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning. I'm Seth Merrow as we wrap up the holiday weekend. A lot of great racing across the country over the weekend, and we'll hit on some of those stakes recaps as we move along here. A little bit later on, maybe a little handicapping. Maybe we'll take a look at a little Aqueduct action for this afternoon. Then again, we'll wrap up a little bit early as it's once again 11:50 post time at Aqueduct. And it looks like they may have the early post times again next weekend. And then after next weekend, they're going to click towards either 12:20 or 12:50. That'll be the wintertime post times. So we should be back to kind of a regular schedule here on the Sunday morning edition of Racing Across America. But again, maybe a little bit of abbreviated stakes recaps and then a little bit of handicapping. Then we'll toss it over to the NYRA pregame show for their look at the Sunday afternoon card. But as I say, a lot of great stakes action to take a look at. First, let me remind you that if you'd like to watch some football action while you're enjoying your racing action on a Sunday afternoon, you can stop here at the Clubhouse Racebook NFL Sundays throughout the football season. Put your name on a square. Maybe you'll win a football jersey. Always a lot of fun, but you can watch the football and the racing right here at the Clubhouse Racebook every Sunday afternoon, 7-Eleven Central Avenue in Albany. All right, let's jump in and take a look at some of the stakes action. Let's kick things off by taking a look at the Clark, which was run on Friday at Churchill Downs, annually one of the season-ending big events. This year, no exception. 14 entered, nice field. Code of Honor went off as the 8-5 favorite. And Code of Honor is going to be the number 3 horse on our replay. Just, you can see the chiclet, and you can see in those green colors kind of just can't get going. Then it finally gets going. But by the time he gets going, Bodie Express had the jump on him. So Bodie Express puts a grade 1 on the resume. And again, Code of Honor, good second, but just never kind of got the momentum going in time to, as I say, catch Bodie Express, who had the jump on him. Owendale ran 3rd, Coastal Defense 4th, Mr. Freeze 5th in there. It was a 102 buyer for Bodie Express. Bodie Express is a horse that has shown some flashes of talent, certainly throughout the career. It was hard to pull the trigger on Friday necessarily. Went off at 11-1, but got it done. Again, just Rafael Bejarano got the jump on the competition. Code of Honor was there and looked to be in great striking position, and just the momentum didn't start until just a little bit too late. Chart margin of a length, and again, the 102 buyer for Bodie Express getting it done in the Clark. Disappointment was By My Standards, who ran 7th in there, had some traffic. I had Code of Honor over By My Standards. So Code of Honor, as I say, ran well, just traffic and whatnot, but traffic as well for By My Standards. And again, disappointing effort, kind of splitting the field of 14, running 7th in there. So that was Friday's Clark down at Churchill. Again, Bodie Express puts the grade 1 on the resume. Friday out on the West Coast, the Del Mar Turf Festival continued, as it will today as well. I'll hit on that in a few. But a horse I've liked throughout his career, Arklow, is going to get it done. At 9-5, Arklow is going to be the number 5 horse. Lucario, second choice at 5-2. The number 8 runs second. And number 4, Say the runs third. And Arklow getting the lead here. It will be a chart margin of a half a length. Just missed a track record in here. Late run from Lucario, but really doesn't threaten it. If you had Arklow, I don't think you were, sitting on pins and needles. When he got the lead, you pretty much felt confident. Coming out of a 6th place finish previously in the Breeders' Cup Turf. As I say, I've liked him throughout the career. You look at on the win side over the past couple of seasons, only had a couple of wins coming into this. Won the Kentucky Turf Cup down at Kentucky Downs a couple of starts before. And then that 6th place finish in the Breeders' Cup Turf. But, boy, coming into Friday, he had over $2.5 million in the bank, string of triple-digit buyers. This is a nice little turf runner for Brad Cox, Donegal Racing and Company, and gets it done, as I say, just missing a track record on Friday out at Del Mar in the Hollywood Turf Cup. Moving on Friday, there was a few stakes races on Friday at Aqueduct, but I wanted to pull up for the 3-year-old fillies because I thought this was a nice performance from Mrs. Danvers. Mrs. Danvers, a shug horse. Mrs. Danvers, the number 6. You can see her out there kind of pulling away. The chart margin here, 6 1/4. She just kind of runs away. Miss Marissa, the number 1 horse, was a bona fide contender. Gale, the number 8, I was a little surprised that one up to be the favorite. I thought it was going to be, but Gale, the number 8, was 2-1. Miss Marissa, the number 1, was 3-1. They kind of disappoint running 5th and 6th. Running second was Ice Princess. I took a little pop with Thankful, the number 5 who you saw ran horse, stepping into Stakes Company for the first time. I thought Thankful was a little bit interesting coming into the race at the top of the stretch. I thought, maybe Thankful will do a little something in here, but no, not against Mrs. Danvers on Friday afternoon down at Aqueduct, as she wins, as I say, by a chart margin of 6 1/4. She now has 3 wins, 3 and a third, and 8 career starts for Shug in the Allen stable. Had tried Stakes Company once before in the test, was well beaten in there behind Gamine and Venetian Harbor. So her stakes debut was against some salty company. This was also, I thought, a salty little race, not quite the level of that test competition. But Mrs. Danvers acquits herself quite nicely in the Cumley on Friday afternoon down at Aqueduct. One of the stakes on the card down there. But again, one I thought was worth watching is Mrs. Danvers looked real good with the win down there. All right, let's take a look at some of the stakes action from yesterday. And we'll kick off with the Churchill action, which included the 2 2-year-old stakes. And these, both the Goldenrod and the Kentucky Jockey Club, are always intriguing because it's late in the 2-year-old season. We're a month and a week away from turning the page, and these horses become 3-year-olds, 3-year-old fillies, 3-year-old colts, headed on to the Kentucky Oaks potentially, or the Kentucky Derby. But these are important races because, they're 2 turns over the Churchill strip, so you run well here. That bodes well for the promise of that 3-year-old season for either sex. We'll start things out looking at the girls in the Goldenrod. Simply Ravishing, the number 8 horse, was the 3-5 favorite and looked to have this field over a barrel a little bit. Coach came in off a nice win in here at Churchill last time, but it's Travel Column, number 5. I like Clairiere. I had that one in my mix. Clairiere is the number 6, who you see leading here. But when Travel Column gets going, the number 5 horse, just the momentum propels her right by Clairiere. Now, Clairiere, this was only the second start for the Asmussen runner from Stone Street from cavorting. So there's some great breeding there. And I think given that this was the second start, steps in the stakes company. She's got a nice future. But travel column, third start of the career for Brad Cox, broke the maiden in the career debut, ran third in the Alcibiades in her second start with a little traffic. And so third career start, gets it done in the Goldenrod on Saturday at Churchill Downs. She's going to be a nice one. Brad Cox, Larry Best, OXO Racing, paid $850,000 for right up the street, up the turnpike at Fasig-Tipton last summer. Obviously, there was last summer, 2019, no sales up there this past summer, but in 2019, she was purchased right here locally at auction for, as I say, $850,000, and seems to be living up to that price in a fine fashion. 84 buyer. So, this time of year for a 2-year-old filly, that's a solid number. But they have a nice little 2-year-old filly on their hands, Brad Cox, and as I say, Larry Best's OXO. All right, let's move on to a little bit later on the card yesterday, and potentially the Triple Crown Trail. And don't forget, Derby Future Pool 1 is currently under, closes at 6 o'clock. Boy, it's early to be playing that. But if you look and you see a big price, the other interesting, there's a sire wager as well, and that could be a little bit intriguing to play around with. But don't forget that Future Pool, Derby Future Pool 1 closes today at 6 o'clock. Keep that in mind. Barometer on which direction you want to go if you're looking at that pool. If you watched yesterday's Kentucky Jockey Club for the 2-year-old males, 1.16 over that Churchill strip. And I took up with Inspector Frost, the number 6. I didn't get anything out of that one. Keep me in mind down in the bottom, I mixed the Robertino Diodoro runner. And saying on the simulcast, it's true, Robertino Diodoro, keep me in mind, it's the number 4 horse. You think of him as a claiming guy, but now he has a legitimate contender on the Derby trail. Keep me in mind, coming from the back of the pack, they keep going. David Cohen keeps pumping, keeps charging, and gets it done over the number 1A Smiling Sabatka. Number 3 Prince runs third. Arabian Prince from our friends at West Point, and that was a nice third from Arabian Prince. Arabian Prince had broken the maiden in the debut effort, followed that up with a 4th last time in the Street Sense, and now a nice 3rd in Kentucky Jockey Club. So nice little 2-year-old, about to turn 3-year-old for our friends at West Point, again with a 3rd place finish. But keep me in mind, gets it done. David Cohen on board, regular rider for Robertino Diodoro. And he said in a follow-up article yesterday, I got off this one at the beginning of the career, and I said, you know what, this is going to be our Derby horse. And so it felt good that he did, in fact, validate my feelings. Had finished 3rd last time in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, having come from way back in the pack to finish 3rd behind Essential Quality, a couple of seconds before that. And that means went into yesterday's race as a maiden. So that was a nice looking victory in career start number 4. But clearly, they had run 2nd in their debut effort against Maiden Special Company, and then tried the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland, finishing 2nd to Essential Quality, and then the Breeders' Cup Juvenile finishing 3rd to Essential Quality. So clearly they knew this one had some talent, and they had it validated yesterday in the Kentucky Jockey Club. 79 buyer. They're going to head to Oaklawn with Keep Me in Mind, and from Diodoro's Oaklawn base, they'll decide, which 3-year-old trail they will take to the Derby, Oaklawn, or maybe Fairgrounds, or maybe a combination, popping down to some of the 3-year-old races they have at those 2 tracks. So keep me in mind, wrapping up the 2-year-old season, again, in fine fashion with a win in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Let's go out to Del Mar. And we had talked about some of these races yesterday with Ellis Starr, including the Jimmy Durante. I like Pizzazz a little bit in the Jimmy Durante. Pizzazz is going to be the number 7 horse. Took a lot of money, 6-1 on the morning line. Pizzazz went off at 5-2, and is the number 7 horse and makes a nice move right here. And I thought, Pizzazz is going to live up to his name. Then he gets swallowed up a little late and runs fourth. Fluffy Socks from Chad Brown was the favorite at 8-5, and does by Javanica, who I also had in my mix, the 5-run second. Number 9, Quattrell runs third in here. Fluffy Socks did have to survive inquiry, and they looked at it for quite a while. But it was one of those situations that was on the turn. And it did look like perhaps Fluffy Socks did bother another horse. But boy, on the turn, it was kind of tough to pull trigger. It was consternation, I believe, that Drayden Van Dyke, who wound up being fifth. The stewards eventually said it didn't affect the order of finish. There may have been something, but we didn't feel it affected the order of finish. So as I say, they looked for a long time. Fluffy Socks had to survive that inquiry. Did. The order of finish was not changed. So ships out there to Del Mar and gets it done for Chad Brown and Head of Plains Partners. This is a nice looking runner for him as well. Debuted up at Saratoga and disappointed a little bit in the debut, but went on that day and ran fifth. Followed up with a beer down at Kentucky Downs. You know, you go down there for those rich. It was a maiden special event for $94,000. Broke the maiden there, then went to Pimlico, won a stakes race at Pimlico, and just missed in the previous start at Belmont in the Chelsea Hour. Goes Southern California and picks up the Jimmy Durante. So 5 starts, 3 wins, a couple of stakes wins. They'll have a nice little 3-year-old filly going forward to next year, obviously off of the very talented and promising 2-year-old season capped by the Jimmy Durante yesterday. Let's take a look at the Seabiscuit. We talked about this one on the show as well. Favorite in here was Another Twist of Fate, which I found kind of interesting. Had a long layoff and had won the Long Acres Mile up at Emerald Downs in the lone year. That was back in September. Buyer figure was all right, but I was just surprised that Another Twist of Fate took the favoritism over the Chad Brown. That one went off at 2. Another Twist of Fate went off at 2-1. Another Twist of Fate, the number 8 runs 4th. Flavius runs 2nd, the number 12. The winner at 8-1, number 5, Count Again. And you could see Flavius took the lead there late, and you thought, oh, yeah, the Chad horse is going to get it done. But Count Again comes on again at 8-1 and makes the nice late run. Had come out of a 4th place finish last time in the Northern Dancer up at Woodbine. Prior to that, had won the Singspiel up at Woodbine. So this season had spent most of the season up at Woodbine, started the season back in April down at Tampa, but then moved up to Woodbine in the barn again. As I say, won the Singspiel 2 back. So there was a little something up that $18.80 mutual, but a little bit disappointing for Flavius with Irod Ortiz, who again took the lead late, but just all the momentum for Count Again as he zipped by and got it done in there in the Seabiscuit. And finally, we will move on to the Hollywood Derby. Reaction yesterday at Del Mar. And the Hollywood Derby, this was a nice field in here. We talked with Terry Finley from West Point yesterday about Decorated Invader. Disappointing for Decorated Invader, traffic issues, but Decorated Invader number 10, 5th in here. The favorite was Smooth Like Straight at 5-2, the number 2 horse. Number 8, Domestic Spending, winds up to be the winner. 4, you can see it in the colors there, Chad Brown and Klarovich. Really nice ride, just timed that perfectly from Irod Ortiz. Smooth Like Straight 2nd. Gufo from Christophe Clement runs 3rd. Get Smokin', who had just prior won the Hill Prince, just by that much over Decorated Prince, runs 4th and gets the 4th over Decorated Invader, 5th. But coming under the wire, it is Domestic Spending, again, with a very nicely timed ride to get up in the shadow of the wire for Chad, Klarovich, Irod Ortiz, as I say, wrapping up the card yesterday. And I don't know, I will ask if do we have the stretch run of the Japan Cup? Yes. Okay. So we will take a look at that. Internationally, this is one worth taking a look at because Almond Eyes, really a talented runner from Japan. She had won the Philly Triple Crown there years ago and just had been one of the top runners in Japan. This was her farewell race yesterday, Almond Eye. And you can see Kaseki, when we pick it up, just has what looks to me maybe be in the stretch an insurmountable lead. See Almond Eyes starts to get rolling here. And when Almond Eyes gets going, she is going to wind up sending, and she's there on the outside, getting going. And she's going to wind up wrapping up her career, heading off to the breeding shed with a victory in last night's Japan Cup in Japan, obviously. But that was a nice run. As I say, Kaseki came into the stretch and you thought, oh, this might be tough to run down. But Almond Eyes just consistently kept running. She's really been a fabulous, one of the top runners in Japan and kind of internationally. She won in Dubai as well. So it was nice to see her kind of go out on a high note yesterday in Japan in the Japan Cup. Also wanted to mention, because next week, I was going to say was going to be, still will be, mandatory pay in the Empire 6 on Cigar Mile Day. But unfortunately, the big purse will not be as big because it was scooped up yesterday at Aqueduct, $487,000 plus, scooped up yesterday in the Empire 6 when Muta Makina won the Long Island. That one paying $590. Prior Turn to Side paid $12. Kansas Kiss paid $33. Never Surprise $650. Return the Ring $12. The sequence started out with Hawaiian Noises at $41. So there was a couple in there you had to search for a little bit. Somebody or somebodies, a team perhaps, picked it up. The article that Dave Grenig wrote following up said the ticket was an investment of over $4,300 to pick up $487,000. Not bad yesterday, but as I say, a little bit disappointing perhaps for those of us who are maybe looking forward to taking a pop next weekend for the mandatory pay. But we'll see. They'll juice a little money into the pool. It'll still have a little something going for the weekend. Also wanted to mention that tonight, 4:40, 5:40, just a little before 7 o'clock our time, the Matriarch at Del Mar, kind of worth tuning in for that because Sharing will take on her elders. Sharing, of course, started her career right up here at Saratoga last year for Graham Motion and Eclipse Thoroughbreds. Close up third in the career debut last July 2019, and then followed up breaking the maiden pretty convincingly in an off-the-turfer in the middle of August. Subsequently, she won the Salima, moved on and won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly. Started this year and won the Tepin. Then they went over, tried Royal Ascot. If you remember that race, she looked really good running second over at Royal Ascot. Came back to the United States, won the Edgewood at Churchill, and this evening, again, just a little before 7 o'clock out at Del Mar, she will be in the Matriarch taking on her elders. Viadera is in there for Chad Brown, Julie Fox for Brad Kahlo out for Chad Brown. So fun, competitive field, but it'll be interesting to see what Sharing, the 3-year-old filly, the talented, very talented 3-year-old filly from Graham Motion can do this evening versus her elders. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and maybe take a look at some action for this afternoon for Aqueduct, and then we'll throw it over to the pregame at Naira. Stay tuned.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue. I'll get your game on day or night with 75 flat screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Race Book, 711 Central Avenue.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices. In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances, streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OT, become a better horse player.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
It's in front, but here comes Handicapping Segment, the defending champ, to take it to Paul. These two are traveling with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a three-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning. I'm Seth Merrow. As always, thanks for joining us. Take a look at the early pick four at Aqueduct, give you some ideas there. And then, as I say, with 11:50 post time, we will send it to the pre at Naira with Anthony, the Big A, and Andy Serling back in off for a few days, but he was back in yesterday. Second race at Aqueduct on this Sunday morning. The card starts out in the morning. By the time we get to the second, we'll be just past lunchtime. Second race today, State Bred Made Specials going 6 on the grass. And so far the signal, and I pulled up, they're showing yielding. And actually, the inner turf is good, outer turf is yielding. So it looks like we're cooking along as far as turf racing is concerned. I have it, and let me see, I do have some early scratches. Looks like the 11 is still in, but the 13 is out because I had 11, 13, 6, and 9. So it looks like the 11 is going to be in, and maybe the 9 is out. So it looks like for me, it'll be 11, 6, and 7. Let me just double check those scratches. Yeah, so it'll be 11, 6, and 7. In the second at Aqueduct, Mass Marauder on top, one deep on the AE list, but does get a scratch, enough of that action to move in now. Mass Marauder, just buyer-wise of those that have raced, and a lot of these are first-time starters. I'm just looking, really, the body of the field is the one has had some starts. But this one has shown a little bit of ability, and clearly they had some promise for this one. Third career start, they jumped into a stakes race, still being a maiden. So the Robitrass runner, again, as I say, has fired some numbers that, for this bunch are probably going to be okay, and has also shown a little bit of promise. Blinkers go on today. So we'll put Mass Marauder on top. Second slot, we will take a look at number 6, Perfect Munnings by Munnings from Todd Pletcher. Workouts are okay. There was a little bit of breeding here. Jose Ortiz jumps on board, so we'll throw that one in the mix as well. In the third spot, Mr. Hot Cha-Cha, Dave Donk runner, I thought might be a little bit live. Dave Donk had the great Saratoga meet and then went a little cold, and now has come back and heated up again, and so that attention as well. But again, there are a number of first-time starters in here that might prove to be any kind, really. It's hard to know. I will say, I originally had 5, and a couple were on the AE list. One pulled in, and another one in the body of the field scratched out. So now I'm 11, 6, and 7. And the one that I had a couple check marks next to, but I just couldn't include because I was already 5 deep, is Bulgari, the Jim Bond runner. So again, it's a firster by Tisway that I thought might be a little bit interesting first time out of the box. So we'll pull that one into the bottom of the mix. In the second race, 11, 6, 7, and 8. Race number 3 at Aqueduct this afternoon on the grass again. 5, 8, 1, and 9 for me. And I just wondered if Obsessed might try to steal this. Todd Pletcher runner has a lot of early speed. Broke the maiden last time with a front end run at Keeneland. 2 starts back, was on the front at Keeneland and just got caught. Same scenario up at Saratoga. 2 back. Also, as all of those starts so far have been on the dirt. So how is this horse going to take to the turf this afternoon? But I think if the horse does take to the turf, maybe gets out and is able to take them all the way around. That's the crystal ball at work. You're getting 10-1 on the morning line. With the surface question mark, I think we'll maintain some value. but I'll take a look at Obsessed with the early speed spot. Chad Brown Klarvich off the maiden breaker last time. That was only the second start of 2020. So now the third start of the season, strings a couple together, seems in good form, logical on the connections. Glenn County in the third spot. Mike Maker trainee went through a starter allowance last time nicely. Came from off the pace. Had Irad Ortiz on board that day, though, and Eric Consell is on board today. But typically and pretty consistently is firing numbers that I think are going to stack up nicely with this crew. So in the third at Aqueduct, 5, 8, 1, 9. Fourth race at Aqueduct, winners of one other than going the one-turn mile for me, 7, 1, 6, and 2. Let me just check because I can't. It looks like the 7 might be out of the. Oh, no, I was looking a race ahead. We're good. We're good to go. 7, 1, 6, and 2. The Sound on top. Brad Cox trainee, couple of starts. Good second in the debut behind the next out winner. Followed that up as the chalky favorite, getting it done in the second career start. Couple of starts at the 7 furlongs now, and the third start stretches to the mile. I kind of like that as well. Nice outside attack post position. The Sound on top. Adair in the second slot. Started the career out in Southern California for Neil Drysdale and then came east. Good second in the first start on this coast at Belmont. I liked the nice little workout last time. Says the horse is his toes, so Adair should be a player as well. And in fact, Adair is the morning line favorite. I'll be interested to see, given what Brad Cox has been doing recently. I'll be interested to see who attracts the favoritism in this race. Third spot, Fort Worth. It's a Todd Fletcher trainee that has 3 wins in 5 career starts. 2 of them in the last 3 starts with bookend and okay third place finish. Has been facing state-bred optional claimers. This is an open allowance, so a little bit saltier, but I think this will fit okay with effort. Is a danger as well. Jose Ortiz on board. So, if you're playing the horizontals or whatever, I think it's a nice alternative to maybe add a little bit of value, because I think the top 2 probably a lot of attention. And finally, wrapping up that early pick 4 at Aqueduct. In the 5th, I have a 2, 3, 9, and 6. I think we're good to go there as far as there were some early scratches posted. Caramel Swirl on top for Bill Mott. Pretty good looking debut effort. It was a nice second place finish with a buyer number that was solid. Went back to win next time out. So I think Caramel Swirl is going to be legitimate. Firster by Chad Brown from Juddmonte. Precipitate by Pioneer of the Nile. That one could be interesting. The workouts underneath seem to indicate this horse will be well met first time out of the box. Paradise Song, a firster from Mike Trombetta by Frosted, I think is going to be a player in the debut effort. Soma by Curlin from Shug McGay, he could be interesting. And just read it. 20 to 1 on the morning line. Firster from Ray Handel. And if you remember, I had Ray Handel on with me this summer talking about one of the horses he talked about was Irish Constitution, who was a first-time starter that won for him at Saratoga. And he show, I don't usually win with firsters, but I have a couple that I think are going to be good. And Irish Constitution, I'm pretty sure it was later that same day, proved that. Well, this is another institution from Ray Handel. 20 to 1 on the morning line. Just read it. I just missed my mix, but I have to toss out there. If the odds hold up on just read it, there are a couple of words I would consider playing around potentially with that one. Again, if the odds kind of hold up at, let's say 12, 15 to 1 or higher, certainly that 20 to 1 or higher. Take an extra look maybe at the number 7. Just read it in the 5th. But I have it 2, 3, 9, and 6. All right. I'm going to step out because, as I say, there is the early post time today at Aqueduct. So I'm assuming the pregame show may be underway or about to roll out. So we'll get some ideas a Sunday afternoon. We'll be taking a look at some of that action, hopefully tossing out some interesting ideas. Also have to note, yesterday we had the online bankroll last week out in the front half and just could not make it happen. And yesterday I was kind of treading water again too. And then at the end we had a couple of little things happen. So everybody on the bankroll team got a little touch of money put into their account. It was not the day I wanted. I passed up. Not only is it you have to hit and preserve the bankroll for 4 hours and make it happen and have the right opinions, but it's as much the races you pick as you don't pick. And there was one race at Churchill I sat out that it was a great exacta that I kind of kicked myself the sideline. Again, to improve on the performance. As I say, everybody on the team got a little bit of money for everybody who participated during the afternoon. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Don't forget the house race book today. Action. We'd love to see you down here. NFL Sundays throughout the season. 7-Eleven, Central Avenue. Seth Merrow for OT, or I was going to say OTB Live. That's another hour of Racing Across America on a Sunday morning. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. The NYRA pregame show up next. I'll see you live in about an hour.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.
This horse had a little bit